Good afternoon, all. Please sit down. Welcome you to this press briefing on the activities of the customs in 2024. Perhaps one way to start as a background would be for us to examine the earliest record of customs duties that has been collected by Nigeria Customs Service all over the years, just as something to whet our appetite. History has it that Nigeria Customs Service, as we know it, started in 1891. And according to the archives, the National Archives, Nigeria Customs Service collected duties on merchandise and species to the tune of £516, 516,000 pounds, 817, which is equivalent of about 604.7 million naira at the current exchange rates, excluding historical inflation. So this is what is recorded as the beginning of customs revenue in Nigeria. Let's flip over to 1960, the year of independence. And according to a report of the Board of Customs, the value of customs duties has grown significantly to 55,918,367 pounds. 3 decades later, by 1990, when the department operated under the Ministry of Internal Affairs, our revenue figures had reached 9.2 billion naira, which marked a significant evolution in our collection capacity. However, by 2014, we had started progressively crossing the billion naira mark, and in 2017, we have shown consistent demonstration of capacity for growth and adaptation in revenue collection. As at the end of 2017, we have achieved an historic milestone by crossing the 1 trillion naira mark. And in 2017, we collected 1.037 trillion naira, exceeding our target by an impressive 34%. This was the achievement that set the foundation for even greater milestone in the subsequent years. In 2022, we continued our march into the trillion naira mark as we crossed the 2 trillion naira threshold. That year, we collected 2.6 trillion naira. Though this was a significant increase in revenue collection, we must acknowledge that in that year, we recorded a 14% shortfall from the 3 trillion naira target set by the federal government. So in 2023, in maintaining the upward trajectory, the service further demonstrated its growing capacity by crossing the 3 trillion naira mark by collecting 3.2 trillion. This also fell short of our 3.6 trillion naira target by 13%. But despite the shortfall, it is a significant expansion of our revenue collection capacity. And this was what laid the groundwork for our performance in 2024. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is against this backdrop of consistent growth that I therefore present to you our achievements for the year 2024, a year that has seen the service crossing into new heights in both revenue collection, trade facilitation, and enforcement capacity. Let me start with revenue performance. I am indeed pleased to announce that the service has again recorded another unprecedented performance in revenue collection in the year 2024. During this year, we collected a total sum of 6 trillion 105 billion 315 million 543,489 naira 50 kobo. This performance surpassed our target of 5.079 trillion by 1 trillion 26 billion 245 million 677,404 naira, which represents 20.2% increase over and above our target for 2024. This remarkable achievement represents a significant 90.4% increase from our 2023 collection of 3.2 trillion naira. This growth is historic as it marks the highest year-on-year increase recorded by the service in recent times, surpassing the 52.24% growth recorded in 2022 by 38.18%. Additionally, we recorded another milestone in October 2024 when we had the highest monthly collection ever in the history of the Nigeria Customs Service, to the tune of 603 billion 171 million 859,991.97 naira. Now, the total I have just mentioned in 2024 comprises three main components. The first was the federation accounts, and we had about 3.6 trillion. The second was the non-federation accounts levies, where we had 816.9 billion. And the third component is the value-added tax, where we collected 1.6 trillion naira. It is pertinent to note that these collections were achieved despite significant concession granted to support various sectors of the economy. And this totaled in 2024, it totaled 1 trillion 682 billion 302 million 648,880 naira 67 kobo. These concessions comprise 723 billion on import duty waivers and 372 in other levy concessions and 586 billion in import VAT concession. These strategic concessions were granted to stimulate economic growth, to support industrial development, and enhance the overall business environment in line with government objectives. Notably, the 2024 concession, if we compare it with previous year, the value represents a significant reduction from the 3 trillion 959 billion which we recorded in 2023. So the concession in 2024 was 1.6 trillion. In 2023, the year before, it was 3.9 trillion naira. So this reduction is a direct result of enhanced monitoring mechanisms and strategic reforms aimed at blocking loopholes and eliminating abuses in the concession granting process, ensuring that only genuine and qualifying enterprises benefit from these incentives. I must also report that there is continuous engagement with the Federal Ministry of Finance and its officials to ensure that only those who are deserving of these concessions get them. These achievements in revenue generation were made possible through our continuous alignment with the policy objectives of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, under the astute guidance of the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Olawale Edu, with support of the board and the management and the entire staff of Nigeria Customs Service. Having said that much on revenue, let me quickly go on to our performance in trade facilitation. And at the beginning of the year, we made several commitments towards modernizing our operations and enhancing service delivery. Despite our impressive revenue performance, we remain conscious of the need to strike a healthy balance between revenue collection and trade facilitation. This balance was evident in our commitments at the beginning of the year and also served as a milestone for gauging our performance throughout the year. These were further reiterated during the CG's conference, which was held later in the year. Let's look at the performance of trade. The data that we have reflects significant growth in trade value despite the global economic headwinds. We processed imports with a value of 60.29 trillion in 2024, representing a remarkable 117.4% increase from the 27.74 trillion in 2023. This was achieved through 1,262,988 import transactions, handling a total weight of 15.35 billion kilograms. The higher value, which we recorded, despite an 8.2 decrease in transaction volume from the previous year's 1.3 million transactions, indicates a shift towards higher value goods in our import trade portfolio. So the value of the goods that were imported in 2024 was significantly higher than those of 2023. Our export trade performance was equally impressive, with a total value rising significantly to 136.65 trillion in 2024 from 42.77 trillion in 2023, marking a 219% increase. So in 2023, the total value of exports stood at 42.7 trillion. In 2024, this has grown to 136.65 trillion, representing 219% increase. While the number of export transactions remain relatively stable at 38,199 compared with 38,294 in 2023, we witnessed a substantial increase in export volume, processing 12.35 billion kilograms in 2024 compared to only 3.7 in 2023. So this 234% increase in export mass, that is the weight, coupled with the higher value, indicates a robust growth in our export trade and suggests increasing competitiveness of Nigerian products in international markets. So in both the value and the absolute number, we recorded over 200% increase. And our understanding of this is that Nigerian trade is doing better, our competitiveness is higher, and Nigeria Customs is providing all the support necessary to achieve these better numbers. Now, in terms of the trade volume, that is if we combine imports and exports, which we handled by the service in 2024, this amounted to 196.94 trillion compared to only 70.5 trillion in 2023, representing 179.3% increase. This substantial growth in trade volume, achieved with fewer but more valuable transactions, is evidence of the increasing sophistication of Nigeria's international trade and the effectiveness of our measures that we put in place to encourage imports and exports. In line with our pledge to adopt global best practices in trade facilitation and improve operational excellence and enhance security, I am pleased to report significant progress in implementing this commitment. The service successfully implemented various measures to enhance operational efficiency through modern procedures enabled by the new Nigeria Customs Service Act